I have two videos on wall repair. They're different in the technique. They're not how-tos, they're more of a you can video. This is the first one. Well, I have a bit of a rut row. As I was sanding the door, a door rather, 4-foot level jumped on me and I made a big gash in that freshly painted wall. Can we patch it? Can we make it, hide it, make it a little bit better? Yeah. Probably not going to be invisible, but we can make it better than what it is. And let's see if you can see how deep that is. Now, it dug down that deep, but the first thing I do is cut out the little bit of rough edge and paper. All right, this is what I'm talking about. I like to use this kind of material for these little nail holes and little divots and scratches that you don't see till you're just about ready to paint. And you don't want to wait 24 hours for regular sheetrock to mud to set and then have to sand off and then vacuum up and all that kind of stuff. This works pretty well for shallow spots. It can be used straight up for repairs, and it helps with patching. But what it's really good for is those little quick fixes of little divots and whatnot. It's light, it is fairly dusty, but it sets quick. And because it's dry, like you'd find bag mix concrete, it doesn't mold up. If you buy the little tubs of sheetrock stuff, it just goes bad over a period of time as air gets to it. This is just sort of like flour. Mix up what you need for the batch you need it, and that's it. Alrighty then. So we talked about the 20-minute set time. The purpose for that is, one, if you buy the pre-mixed kind, you usually pay about $5 for it, and it molds and gets old real fast after you open it, get air into it. This is dry like flour, so when you mix it up, you only mix up what you need, and it lasts longer. It is about $10, $8-10, something like that, 20 minutes. They make another type that's a little slower setting, might be good for you if you move slow, if you're like doing nail holes or something like this, but just a quick patch. 20 minutes, what they say, it actually takes a little bit longer depending on how much water you use when you get it right, get the right consistency, and how deep you have it. Like a gouge will take more time to cure than, say, just fixing over a little split or a little crack. All right, you'll need something else. You'll need your little bucket, a little tape pan, and a tape knife. All right, now see, they're always going to rust on you. This stuff's kind of gritty. So after you use it one time, it will rust on its own. Even if you didn't scratch it, it'll rust on its own. But this is a taping knife. I think it's 6-inch or something like that. You just pour your dust in here, your mix, and get it right consistency. Give it a one. After you get it kind of soupy, let it set for a minute. Re-stir it, and then you're good to go patch your little holes. Now, the reason you don't need a tape on this repair is because it's not a crack or joint. They're just little gouges and paint peels and that kind of stuff. Anything that's kind of shallow, you just mud right over it and it goes fine. And if I haven't shown you before, because I'm parsimonious, sorry about the paint on the finger, but been painting and also been fixing walls. And I don't know if this one was used to mix paint or to handle paint, or to it looks like it's been stirred up, so it's probably been used to mix mud before dumping in the pan. But anyway, that's all you need to do. You can look online for your mixing instructions or from the manufacturer. Not really hard to do. Well, here it is the next day, and I have sanded down over it. There's a little touch there somewhere, but feel it back and forth. Don't look at it, feel it, and that'll tell you about how smooth it is. And there's a little edge right there at that point, but I'm gonna go ahead and paint back over that. And that's the thing with anything above a flat, it's hard to match the sheen and the texture along the wall, but we'll try to match it by using the same leftover paint that we had when we painted the wall, and we'll use the same rollers, even though it will end up wasting so much paint as the roller loads up with paint. But we'll see how well we can patch this, and hopefully it won't be too noticeable. Okay, let me show you a second example of this. I knocked a hole in the ceiling with the door as I was flipping it over. 3-corner hole. Let me see if we can find it. There it is. There's a little bit of it showing through right there, but it feels flat. So what I'm going to do is take, just repaint that little corner there with a roller. It's flat white paint. We'll come back and see how well it worked. Well, now we're done with the repair and it was that door right there. I was setting that door and it had the level across the very top to make sure it was in the right spot, and it fell off, and when it did, it gouged that wall right in there, kind of above the receptacle. And that's where you saw the gash. Now we trimmed out to get a sharp edge that was well adhered to the sheetrock. The tag, the rag, the edges we cut out with just a box cutter, and then we came back over and filled it in like we saw in the previous little segment. Well, let's go see how it worked. Now, sometimes we can pick up on the color, a little subtle shades in the color difference or texture. It does look like I might have a little bit of an edge there, but we'll let it go ahead and dry all the way. It might be the way the light hits it, but except for that little white spot right there. I need to hit that with with a little brush or something, a little bit of a low spot in there, but you can't really tell that it's there. And it's a technique that you can use many times when you're doing painting. If you get a little piece of it, the paint that comes up, or a gouge, you don't have to necessarily mud over it with tape and all that, but what you can do is just take a little bit of that sheetrock mud, run through the flat spot, sand her off, and just paint over the top of it. It's easy, it's fast, it works most of the time. Let's go look at another one that I have in progress, which I gouged a 3-corner tear in the ceiling over there in the kitchen area. And now we're done with it. Now, it was just a tad over from where the sink is horizontally, and with a flat white paint like a ceiling, it's pretty easy to fix. Now, I can't see it in there. I'd have to get up there real close to see the texture on the paint, but it's a technique that works pretty well. Same thing with with just about anything else. Anytime you get a little nick, you don't have to go over all of it. You just fill that in real quick. Don't panic, don't fret. Try to use the same roller. If you used a roller versus a spray, it's going to show a little different. If you use a spray versus a roller, then if you rolled on top of it, it's going to show the difference in texture. What can I say? The nap on the roller will affect it using a brush over it. So you might get a little texture change on it, but you can certainly fill in the hole. In this video, I showed what you can do just filling in a gouge or a hole or a dig. The companion video to this will actually patch using tape a second piece to fill a hole.